Bruchim Aboyim, welcome. Tonight's dinner has a special place to me personally. I always feel a tremendous kasher to the people who come out, but there's an unspoken nace, unspoken until this moment, to be able to have that the Kollel in Cherry Hill is holding, that when Ashkacha feared that we made it tonight, that we were able to make a cheshbon that it's not a problem. And it used to be, for those who are here a while, they'll appreciate this, when I joined the Kollel, they told me that when they started davening mincha, Kollel had mincha 2:15, they got a phone call. There was one mincha in Cherry Hill, and the Rav of the shul, this shul wasn't there yet, wasn't around yet, and the Rav of the shul said that we have a problem. You're going to make a minyan for mincha, you're going to ruin our minyan. And he was talking to Rabbi Serebrowski from Torah Links. Rabbi Serebrowski said, we have our own minyan. We're not pulling. He said, yeah, but 2-3 balabatim will come to you and we won't have a minyan. So there are more minyanim in Cherry Hill for mincha today than there were people at that one minyan. And Kanai Nahara, how many people there are learning Torah? I used to tell my children when I sat down with them to make a cheshbon that when we're learning now, for Baruch 40-something miles around us, it's possible we're the only ones who are learning. So if you go into Philly, there's the Philly Yeshiva, there's Lakewood, but it could be that this is it. In Kanai Nahara today, you can go to all the sides of Cherry Hill. There's the Yeshiva Chafetz Chaim, the Yeshiva Kollel of Cherry Hill, the Shara Talmud. There's Kanai Nahara, hundreds of Bachim that are learning. And then within the whole community, there's such a tremendous, tremendous change. I don't want to give a drasha now. I want to start with the program. B'ez Hashem, I'll speak later when we're sitting by the dinner. But I just want to point out that all of the honorees tonight, it's such a geschmack, a covered for the Kollel to be able to honor them. Often you go to a dinner, you're honoring somebody, everybody knows why they're honoring him, and it has nothing to do with who the person is, but this pashut, it's worth having a dinner to be able to honor the Sokolins, who have for more than 20 years that I know them, people who always were striving to connect to whoever it is that they could learn from, to always do what's right. As they learned more and more what's right, a Nasav and Ishma family. And the Vaynbergs, and their whole Geschmacke family, the sons who I taught, the ones who I try to teach, and the tremendous growth that we've seen in that family, and then the tremendous kayach that is the Sussman family and what he's done. And how Zalmy has become a fabric of the Kollel, and all of them really are the Kollel family. So this is a family simcha. It's a special kavod, the kavod Zalmy. Rabbi Bender came, the yeshiva of, it's known everywhere as Darche, Zalmy's Rebbe, and I can't think of somebody better that we would have been able to invite to come to be mechaber with us. I would like to introduce the yeshiva.
Shkayach. This is terrific. I didn't expect to walk in and find such a crowd. By the way, if I could have the Super Bowl every night, it would be wonderful. The traffic here was not much wonderful. No traffic. Really. Tomorrow night I'm going to Lakewood. I'm already scared going to Lakewood. For Rockaway to Lakewood, normally is an hour and 35, 40 minutes without traffic. I have to go, to get covered by the chuppah, beside the Kedushim, whatever, so it's wonderful. But you have to leave at 4 o'clock to get there by 7. And today I came to Cherry Hill, mamish, and wow, but to see this oil of what Cherry Hill became. But Klahr is a one of a kind. You realize what Klahr, one of a kind. What a man, really. Clap for that, really. Shaykh. One-man show with Chaim, with Seichel, with Chacham, what he's built up in this shtot is incredible, really. Whoever else is busy in the city, they deserve the same compliments, but this is very, very special. You know, I once heard, people speak about chinuch, right? You mind just a short vater, whatever. I'm not a chinuch guru. I happen to work in chinuch, that's all. But I want to tell you interesting. Reb Shlomo Feivel Mendelovich, when he built the high school of Torah Vodas was mishundik successful. Years ago, they would come out the only yeshiva. There was Chaim Berlin and there was RJJ, but they stopped at 8th grade. No one knows about that. He built a Masifta, which was to have Limudei Kodesh in the Masifta, which is incredible. And I assume he said this, I'm not sure exactly where he said this. He said, there's a very different Medrash, Chumash Bereshis. The Medrash says that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Nimlach, he spoke with his malachim to decide if he should build the world, create the world, or not create the world. The question he asked him was, Nivra or Eloi Nivra? Should we create or not create? It's a long, fascinating Medrash over there. And the Medrash says that he asked the malachim, he asked the malach chesed, whatever that means again, I'm not sure all these Yona, the Kabbalah, the Kinyan, and he asked the malach of chesed, should we create the world? He said, yes, there'll be a huge amount of chesed. Look what goes on behind her and Klahr Yisrael with chesed. He asked the malach of emes, and the malach of emes said, no. There'll be a lot of sheker in the world. Whereupon HaKadosh Baruch Hu clipped the wings of the Malach HaEmes. He fell to the ground. The Ksiv, Emes Meretz Titzmach, Emes would flourish from the ground, would sprout from the ground. So he asked the Kasha, what did he do wrong, the Malach HaEmes? He asked him, should we create the world? Should we not create the world? So he answered, don't create the world, be full of sheker. That's his job, to say the Emes. He's the Malach HaEmes. He has to say, don't create the world, there'll be too much sheker. Said the Shraga Feivel, the greatest sheker in the world is that it won't work. A person has to believe it will work. That's what the Malach HaEmes should have answered. We'll create a world and make it a world of emes. I think about Cherry Hill, I'm here now. The greatest emes is that it will work. You need people like Ray Clark and the other people who are here who build such a kollel in the town. The kollel builds the town. I was in Houston last year for Shabbos. Tremendous. You used to now, I think 600 families used to know because there was one kollel. There's a kollel here. But I'm here for another reason, because Zalmy. I said yes right away. Zalmy called me. I have a close kesher with him. And I'm sorry, I don't know the other two honorees. I can't just get up. I have to say emes now, right? I don't know the other two honorees. I can't get up and speak about them, but I can talk about Zalmy and his wife and his mother. My heroine. Mrs. Mindy Sussman, I think she's here. She's a very, very special, extraordinary lady that we have a close shaykhs with her. She's here tonight. And of course, Zalmy, who has built so much, Baruch Hashem, his own family, children, the whole mishpacha, is so wonderful. And that's really why I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm really happy to be here. So if you ever meet me again, make sure it's Super Bowl night, but not if the Giants are in the Super Bowl. That don't do. Then I have to maybe find a place somewhere, Yil Bashchayim, and go hide somewhere. I don't know, you know. It's not so pashut. I think the side of chinuch today should really be this. We have to use daily opportunities with which to really try to find ways to teach the kids. There's a malchama going on in Israel now, 3.5 months. Shrekach malchama, really? People, every person, by us, one person dies. Every time I see a soldier died, one member. It's already, it's shreklach. It's shreklach for us. I went to Rishon Kamenetsky last week. I went to visit him. He said, he's open to visit. I said, my mishpacha, we went there. Someone asked him, would be all right to carry around the big picture of a soldier and just focus on that soldier. He said, Father, yes, do it. He said, do it. It's a very good thing. We have to be nice here, and I think that the kids, be'etzim, are good. Children are good. Our job is not to bring out the worst in kids. We got the best in kids. So I asked me, she says, what have we done? And I think that's much I'll give you an example. The CS oil. Children feeling the pain. We spoke about different inyanim. There are kids in yeshiva, this is not advertisement in Darchei Torah. We don't expect to get kids from Cherry Hill. I mean, in Darchei Torah. So, but you have Hanan Yekremi, he's wonderful. I mean, he's Darchei Torah. I'm sorry, he's a Darchei Torah graduate. He ran away to Chavetz Chaim afterwards, but he's really a Darchei Torah graduate. He's really a special person. He really is. And so we spoke about this in Yanim. You know, there are at least 200 kids now that have stopped eating candy for 3.5 months. There's hundreds of kids that have, no, there's hundreds of kids that, today kids bring snacks to school. I know it's like, I think in the Far Rockaway, they bring 4 snacks a day. Eat 3 of them on the bus and 1 later on. Imagine here also it's the same thing, 3 or 4 snacks. Kids have cut back. 2 snacks. There are at least hundreds of children that are not sleeping with a pillow. They're not sleeping with a pillow. Or 2 pillow kids sleeping with 1 pillow. We got to bring out, and these kids feel so good, they're doing something. Probably not asked Shmuel what to do with the Tillim, becoming a little vachadik to Tillim, even though they're still saying it well. You don't want to say Tillim every day, 3 times a day, and then they become a little bit like they get used to the matzav. But you can make them, the kids are so proud of things that they've done. There's one Bachar Besmedvish who has not taken, except for Shabbos, he takes a shower every night, not taking a hot shower. He feels, I got to feel the pain of the sun. He goes into a cold shower every night. Kids, that's what we got to do with children. Shul Birnbaum, and I say this to the children this word, Shul Birnbaum once said, in this week's parsha, talks about the Avnei Milum. Speaks of all the items that are needed, the ingredients so-called that are needed for the building of the Mishkan, and they were Avnei Milum. Rashi says, why are they called Avnei Milum, stones of filling? Rashi says, because they filled the indentation on the Chayshen, there were 12 indentations, and the stones fit into those indentations. I'll never forget it. I remember I was in yeshiva. Why are they called Avnei Milum, stones of filling? Fillings, like, there's no dentist here. I hate the word filling, I get nervous. If they're not geschmack, stones of filling, call them by their names, sapphire, diamond, rubies. Call them by their real names, stones of filling. Shmuel said, I said so to the kids this year. Shmuel said, greater than being wonderful and being special and being bright and being a diamond or all these types of gems is when you fill the needs of somebody else. These stones are wonderful. They're chashiv 12 stones. Oiden, pitta, berekes, whatever the pasuk says over there. They're special stones. But right now there was a need to fill the indentations. And they filled the need. That's why they're called Avnei Milum Rishut Merah was Torah. When it came to helping others, he was mechanechos constantly. But it means to help another bachar. Learn with him. Learn with another bachar. Take a bachar and learn with him. One younger man, she was now Magid Shirbez, told me once, I got him on Purim, and the day was a little bit tipsy. I said to him, how did you have your siyat d'shmaya? He says, I found 6 times a day, 10 minutes with a shvachi kid. I think when I did that, they gave me siyat d'shmaya. He wouldn't say it to me regularly, this younger man. He never would say it to me. He felt that you help out. Why Kollel so successful? First of all, they bring genuine Torah to community, genuine Torah, and they bring in people from the street to learn. And this story, I just met 2 fellows in college here, right? Just met you. When you asked what time you see is he in the morning? When I just met him, I forgot his name. Where is he, fellow? Where is he? Him, right? The one that's in medical school right now. Whatever. Oh, you, back there, right? What time are you here in the morning? Embarrassing. I'm turning over 6 o'clock. You're here 6 o'clock in the morning to learn Torah. That's special. That's what a Kollel does to a town. And we bring them in. I think, right, the chinuch is a long topic. It's hours and hours, really. But I think that's what we should really be focused on. The idea of teaching kids how to care for other people. And then they're good talmidim. They hear, there's a wheelchair in yeshiva, you push the wheelchair. Kids fight to push the wheelchair. Instead of not taking them into yeshiva, kids you take them in and you work with them. It's very special then. They feel a shaykhs to other people. My mother, Shalom, I grew up without a father most of my life. I mean, as a kid yet. My mother was a first Beis Yaakov teacher in America. Chashiva lady. But her chinuch was totally not in those years. Those years we didn't like yeshiva too much. I'm putting it mildly. There were petch and so on. My mother never, ever gave any of us a patch. She's a widow. We were penniless, mamish. Don't feel bad for me. I'm okay to drive a nice car. Anyways, we were mamish penniless. Nothing, garnished and garnished. We didn't have, and you know what? She would have chiyus into the house. She'll say to me, Yankel, I'm disappointed in you. She may say it 10 times a day, but she never would get angry at us. Never. I don't remember my mother ever getting angry at us. With goodness, today's children, you got to teach with goodness. They should feel proud. Once in a while, you have a kid, Talmud, I have to ask you, have a Talmud that turns over to school, you have a problem. it's not so easy on them today. Everything is ADHD, AD, all kinds of stuff today. But the Maisa, it could be a problem. Okay, but generally speaking, with Gutens, they didn't do that years ago. I'm not condemning the years ago. Many of the were Holocaust survivors. But it was very difficult. We didn't like yeshiva. Today's kids come running into yeshiva. They fly into yeshiva. Why are they running in? Because they enjoy being in school. Because it's a simcha. If you do really chinuch with simcha, kids should be happy. Not kids should be afraid to go to school. We were afraid years ago. I'm telling you, I'm not going into the detail now. We were afraid of going into yeshiva. When kids are happy and they learn and you give them things to feel they're important, I think that's really what I think is the best important thing, And never give up on a child. Can't give up on a child. Sometimes you have children that are giving you a hard time, right? No? We all have it. Once in a while, a child that gives you a hard time. Notice the remarkable thing that if you look at all the censuses in the Torah, every single census in the Torah, or account, and you see him, Binyamin and Dan, trust me, go over the Chumash tonight. I brought it here at not that much time, so I'm going to go through it inside. Binyamin and Dan are always listed together. Always listed together. Binyamin and then Dan, always, every time. Always wondered why is that? Why is Chaim, by the way, doesn't mention this point that they're together, but he does mention the following from Binyamin and Dan. Binyamin was the largest shevet. In other words, when they went down to Mitzrayim, 70 nefashis, 69 plus 1, Yechevet, Ben Achaimis, 70 people came down. Binyamin had 10 children. Every one of the 10, Rashi brings about Yigash, every one of the 10 was named something for Yosef's life. Again, caring about somebody else. Again, caring. Chupim was, I missed his chuppah. Everything was about him. Dan, u'bnei Dan chushim, the ganze Welt fragt, why is it bnei Dan, plural? It's one child, not Dan. Who was Dan? The Gemara Saita tells us, if you Gimel, the Gemara tells us, who was Dan? Who was one son? Chushim. Chushim ben Dan. Chushim ben Dan was, Gemara tells us, he couldn't hear. Nothing he couldn't hear. He couldn't speak. He used to say when we were kids, today, Baruch Hashem, they have the cochlear implants, deaf and dumb. That's the word you said. Dumb means he can't speak, and deaf. And Chushim couldn't do any of those things. And when they brought Yaakov to the Maris Machpelah, Chushim and Dan was the one who had the guts, sort of, to stand up. When Esav was making trouble, I'm not going into that whole story right now, the Gemara Saita, and he killed Esav, his head rolled in, and that was the Ruach HaKadosh of Rivka, Lama Eshkal, and Parshas told us, Lama Eshkal, Gam Eshnechem B'Yamechad, she saw Ruach HaKadosh, they both died, they were buried on the same day. So Dan is one child. One child, Chushim, imagine. But look at the count by Midbar when they're coming out of Har Sinai. You see this is talking about approximately, I don't know, when they came to Mitzrayim, it was about 200 years, let's say approximately. Binyamin has 35,400 people in the count. And Chushim, and by the Dan, has 62,700. If I would tell you 34, I would tell you how much did Dan have then? 1/10 of that, no? If Dan Shevet has, Binyamin Shevet has 35,400, it should mean 3,540, 1/10 of that amount. No, he's almost double as big. What happened? Because Dan said, I'll make it with this kid. Dan was mechanech him. He gave him a gewaldige chinuch. I say Binyamin was mechanech his children. He told him, I'm going to make you great. And he did become great. He's the one person by the kever of Yaakov Maris Machpelah. He made him great. Never give up. I can bring you lists of stories with Bachrim and so on and so forth. I mean, really, you could become great if you want to. You could become great. It's up to you. And that's what a parent has to believe. Very frustrating. I make my phone calls on the trips. I'm in the car a lot. I return phone calls. Time after time with parents. Be nice to them. One parent was calling me today. Kid doesn't daven. He's 10 years old. Doesn't want to daven in shul. So, why should he want to daven? She was, no, I'm upset with him. And the father and mother were having an entire like on the phone with me. The father, God, he understood. The mother didn't understand. You're never going to be successful if you force religion down a kid's throat. Make him want to come. Bribe him, yeah, a bag of candies, gesund to hate, a book to read, fine. You can do whatever you want. But you have to make sure that b'simcha, done, taught, chushim, we can get over anything together. We can get over it. We have no problem. I think that's why Binyamin and done it together. Maybe that's the pshat. Look at Binyamin, 10 children, didn't work out so well. Later on, a little less the difference, still very different. And done, one child, blind. And the Gemara is chock full of inyanim like that everybody could become big. I'm here, it's only 20 minutes, I'm almost there, I think, no? I'm going to be a concept leader. And make your homes a special home. The home has to be a home really what's conducive. In our neighborhood, I'm sorry to say this, things not Erev Shabbos. Most of them really, the parents in the yeshiva are really wonderful. I say that parents are wonderful, and parents in general are wonderful. By the way, when I became Manal many years ago, I visited about 15 to 20 schools. And come out, every single Manal told me, parents, they're crazy. Parents are crazy. Absolutely wrong. Parents are talking about their kid. Listen to them. Listen to the parent. They're talking about their children. And there's nothing wrong if they come up, but the home has to be a home. It has to be a home that's conducive to Yiddishkeit. You know, we're coming soon to Pesach. The minute my wife heard benching with Shredich, boy, that's it. She's starting to clean already. You know, that's it, finished. You know, the Yiddish are crank. What can you do? You know, they got to clean, spring clean, whatever they do. So Pesach, we're going to speak. I'm going to say, Pesach matzah Pesach al Shema al Pesach HaKadosh Baruch Hu al Bati Avosinu b'Mitzrayim Benak Beis Mitzrayim Besbotenu Yitzel. Three times the word bias is in there. Three times the word bias is in there. Three times. When he came to the Mitzrayim, Benak Beis Mitzrayim, when he smoked, the English word is smoke. When he smoked the Mitzrayim, when he killed the Mitzrayim. So my Chabrusa, Reb Zevi Trank, we learned this in yeshiva together many years ago. He asked me this kasha then. He's Manal today now in yeshiva. He says, why is it? The answer is obvious. We have a bias. The bias is the key to our families. We have a bias with mitzvahs. It's enjoyable. Friday night Shabbos table. I dance home Friday night. My kids are already married, Baruch Hashem. But still, I'm going to be there. Wow, the bias, the Jewish bias. So I'm telling you a real story. The doctor told me them over here. They heard it from me already. This is Cherry Hill. They didn't even know the story. The kids are Mark laughing at me. You know the story. Okay, but all of you, okay, but I want to tell you something. Zalmy, you know what it means? 5 or 6 guys came from Lakeland in New York to come to your simcha? That's very special. Really, it's very, very special. Zalmy's bias is very special. I got onto a plane. I went to L.A. I got onto a plane, and they paid business class for me. Wonderful. And I'm sitting, and there's a lady next to me. A lady, I always say hello, okay? And she, what do you do? I'm a rabbi, school, blah, blah, Farakaway, yep. What do you do? She's a farmer. I didn't know that farmers look so, you know, I thought a farmer to me is working out with a hoe, with overalls, you know. She's a farmer. And she explained to me, it was then, the kids are on vacation now. It was May. I said, May's vacation? There's a new thing now in America, midwinter vacation. Yuck. You have it here also, probably. We have it in Farakaway. Why do kids need a midwinter vacation? The rabbis need a vacation, but that's editorial, not for now. But kids, so she explained it off now because there, the major avodas in July and August, when they do they take in all the fields. They work with the fields. They want them to be in school. Okay, the kids, I go back to work. When I do on a plane, I either learn Daf Yomi, I'll tell you about it, Daf Yomi, you know, I do it by Chasnas, I'm able to do it during that time. Or I'm Mavasedra with Rashi. So I'm being Mavasedra with Rashi. And you know, you feel when somebody's looking at you the whole time, you can feel it. Because this lady sees I'm being Mavasedra. The way I'm Mavasedra is, I do the Pasuk twice. I do the Targum and the Rashi. That way you remember it. Targum, you remember Rashi's like that. I'm doing like this 34, a long time already, Baruch Hashem. The kid says, I'm doing this to Psukim. Rabbi, what are you doing? I explained to her, this is the Bible. This is the Bible. These are the verses, this is the translation, and this is the commentary. You do that every week? I said, yeah, it's 50. The kids know the number. I think 53, 54 parashas. I said 54 chapters, and then these are these, and I explained to her, and I do it. Yeah, very nice. Okay, good. She went back to her book. I'm thinking, my shoy, I'm not exaggerating the story. 15 minutes later, Rabbi, do you have Shabbat? I said, yeah. I'm thinking about the shiks here. What do you know about Shabbos? Yeah, I said, yeah. Shabbat, that Friday night, the father comes down with nice clothing, and the woman is standing. This is what she did. The woman is standing over the candles. She's going like this. I'm hearing this is a Christian lady, a Catholic lady. He's telling me about Lichtzenden. I said, yeah. The kids are dressed in the nicest clothing, and they go to church. They go to the temple. They come back. She's describing Shabbos as we know Shabbos. And you also have that sumptuous meal where they serve fish. Topeka, Kansas, she lives in. What does she know? There was a little day school then in Topeka. I don't know if it's still there. and the kids come home with sheets. I said, yeah. Some of our parents get nervous. They have 5 kids in Shiva, all the sheets. Thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You have kids that are sitting over in the sheets, and then you eat, she said, potato pudding, she said to me, and dessert, and all the wonderful things. I said, yeah. I said, every week, she says to me. I said, yeah, every week. Then she said me these words, know how lucky you are. I got the best shmooze of my life about Shabbos from this Catholic woman in Topeka, Kansas. You know how lucky you are? We have this baby twice a year. Thanksgiving, she said, yeah, Mother's Day. Oh, you have it every week. She goes, look how lucky you are. She's right. She's right. Do we think about it? That we have these kids? Do we give them the right atmosphere at a Shabbos table? Because such simcha you got at the Shabbos table. How wonderful it is. She chapt it. She chapt it. Sie hat verstanden. She understood it. Imagine a year later, you're probably expecting me to say, I meet her on the plane again. She's wearing a tichel, and she's from Meir Sharm now. She's Megayer. And I never saw her again. I'd like to meet her, tell her how many times I had a story from all, all the time. Our job is to be mesameach our children, to make our homes beautiful. Zalmy, your home is wonderful. I'm saying to all the honorees and everybody that's here, I'm saying to your mother, Baruch Hashem, the children that you raised, Mindy, we're friends. Don't say we're old, because we know each other 44 years. For a man and for a lady, she's always young. But Kitza, I'm not here to say over here, but we went through together, Kanhara, a lot of years, and look at your wonderful mishpacha for so many years. Look at your mishpacha. So coming out the trail for me was mamash simcha. You should have continued nachas. Zalman for your mishpacha and all the honorees, whoever the one was Vaynberg, I think you said, right? I have the names at least, and the other one was Cohen. Sakon. Vaynberg is easier for me. Okay. They should have vizaycha to have lots of. Be honorees. Be honorees. When they ask you to be an honoree, say yes. Say yes. People are suddenly afraid of Ayin Haris at honorees. They'll drive a Mercedes-Benz, the fanciest one in the world, they're not worried about Ayin Haris. They'll build a beautiful house for $5 million, no problem with Ayin Haris. Be honored by yeshiva, it's around Ayin Haris. I want to tell you one story. I have a very close friend. His name is Dr. Kurtzel. Scranton. Who told me he's from Scranton before? Somebody told me. Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Dr. Kurtzel recommended me. I had a problem. To this gentleman, what's your last name again? Weinberger. Okay. To this doctor who gave me, I'm following this doctor's advice for the last, that'd be 25 years already, probably, And I saw him, and I walked in, I said, I recognize your face. That's it. Imagine. Anyways, it's really, so this Dr. Kurtzer didn't have kids for 7 years when Moshe was nifta. Talmud of Ramesha. So he told me 2 things he told me. Ramesha said, accept every honor. Accept honors. It's a bracha when you accept an honor. For a kollel, certainly accept an honor. Then he told him, Ramesha told him, the same vein I think he told him this. He told him, for every year you waited to have kids, you'll have a child. This is what Moshe Weinstein was. They waited 9 years and they have 9 children. And the same Rav Moshe said to him, accept honors from yeshiva, accept honors. Thank you, 3 honorees. Thank you, Rabbi Klahr. You should be gebenched. One good journey, hatzlach and bracha, and you shall only simchas with Hashem.
Okay, if you could please give your attention to the video screen.
My name is Zalmy Sussman. Grew up in Farakwe, went to Yeshiva Darchei Torah almost all my years of Yeshiva. I went to Chaim Berlin for 1 year, and I went back to Darchei. Even before I left Yeshiva, I was already, Kemat since my bar mitzvah in different tkufas, I was walking away quietly from Yiddishkeit. When I got married, it became more pronounced. We moved to Great Neck, New York briefly, and then we lived in Cleveland, Ohio. We had our first child, and then we packed up and moved down to Florida, a land of vacation to us, and we lived there for a decade. For those 10 years, I had very little connection or association with Yiddishkeit, to the extent that I was allergic to walking into a shul, being identified as a Yid or as someone who once went to yeshiva, speaks yeshivish. was trying to completely disconnect myself and my identity from Yiddishkeit and from the way I grew up. In my mind, there was no way, no how, in any of the alternate endings of my story, of my life, where I was coming back to that. Never. There was a lot of possibilities. It wasn't that. That I knew for sure.
They went from place to place, trying to find themselves, continued to build their family, but still searching until Hashem sent them to Cherry Hill.
We bought a house that was specifically on the fringes of the Jewish community, just enough that I could do what I want and dip my toes into the Jewish community when it was comfortable for me.
Zalmy showed up late at night in the Kollel. He said, I heard you're opening a school. I want to register my 2 sons. I took a look at the fellow in front of me and I said, Zalmy, I don't think this school is for your sons. I think you should try the local day school. And he said, I want my son to have that warmth. And he was clear that that's all he wanted, was he wanted them to have that warmth and that love. And I told him, listen, I'm going to accept your children as long as you're willing to abide by the rules of what we want. Of course, I'm going to accept your children.
Zalmy and Sharon, with their real fine-tuned sense of emes and honesty, they regardless of where they were holding in their life, even at that point, they said this is the place. They wanted the right place for their boys.
I'm still a Jew, they're still an American Jew in my mind. And that's how it was for most of the time I lived here.
6-7 years ago on the basketball court, we organized a local community game, and Zalmy started coming down. After getting pretty friendly with the basketball, I invited Zalmy to join us on a softball team. One of the games, unfortunately, in the outfield, there was a smoking line drive that he lined up to catch, would have probably caught it 999 times out of 1,000, but that one time happened to miss his glove or clipped his glove and hit him right straight in the eye.
I was rushed to the hospital. A very dramatic 2 weeks right before Pesach, in bed, concussion. It was complete darkness, blindness in my left eye. I thought that was it as far as being able to see. My left pupil stayed fully dilated, extended period of time, still is, that's indefinite. That woke me up a little, but it didn't happen, that happened, and then I just turned my life around the next day. It wasn't like that. A couple of weeks later, when I was just getting out of bed, and I was just trying to get back to pick up the pieces from everything that was seemingly strewn about by this injury. And I had a night where in 24 hours I lost Kemat every penny I had financially. It manifested itself in a way that was emotional, physical, and it was like my whole life came crashing onto me that night with that like final knockout punch. I thought that was it, that night. That was the longest night of my life. When I woke up the next morning somehow, I said Maidani. It was a Maidani that I can't put into any words other than those words themselves. And I felt, when I woke up, that so much had been just removed from me, purged. Things that I didn't even know were there. No big deal. Gone. Nothing happens in one dramatic spell swoop. Things happen little. I started to see after that, of course the struggle, when Parnasa and all the other struggles that came along with are a real struggle, but I was able to see that there was no other way for me to ever come to these realizations, to ever come back. And Rabbi Shalom just, through all this, literally dropped me off at the front door of the Cherry Hill Kollel.
Rabbi Klahr every now and then has a shiur for some younger guys in the community, and he always asks me to try to spread the word. So I actually thought of reaching out to Zalmy, hey, maybe you'll enjoy this shiur by Rabbi Klahr, and he ended up coming that night.
And because I was at rock bottom, it's like I went, was instantly drawn to Rabbi Klahr, who I had met before, but I was in a totally different place than I met him before.
And that began pretty much a relationship. And from there it was just uphill. The Cheder got the boys on fire. Zalmy got on fire. And Zalmy ended up right in the place. The place was waiting for him. The Kollel, a place of Torah, a place of tefillah. And as soon as Zalmy was inspired to get back to business, everything he needed was there.
My kids coming to the school here, this was all happening during the same time, bringing me back. And the school was the last place that I ever would have sent them. And also I started to see how the Rebbeinu Shalom just, in his chesed, just put me back up at the plate again, loaded the bases again for me.
You can see the impact of the children's learning on their parents, and to see somebody who will take that to heart and change over the entire family, affecting not only those children, but the father, the mother, then the daughters, changing them over to Beis Yaakov's, from schools, watching them growing, fitting in with their friends.
Zalmy himself has really become a mainstay of the Kollel. He's moved his office into there, he sits there and learns all morning.
In such a short time, he has become so part of the very fabric of the Kollel. He's become a pillar in the Kollel. People walk in and they see all the Chavrei Kollel and the Rosh Kollel and the Klahr, and you see Zalmy, one of the Chavrei.
The Kollel obviously connected with that Nakuda of Emes in Zalmy, where he sees real, he sees Emes, he sees Torah. Obviously, that really talks to him, and he just misgaber more and more.
He is really growing there and taking advantage of the Talmidei Chachamim that are there, and I believe in the yeshiva that's there as well. If he didn't have these mediums to attach himself to, I don't know if his growth would be as great as it is.
The Kollel's mission to bring Torah to Cherry Hill, and Zalmy's story about how he received so much and grew so much in the context of the Kollel, it's a clear depiction of what the Kollel is trying to accomplish. And I think it's very worthy that Zalmy is being honored tonight.
I don't think Zalmy and Sharon had any plan to be a part of the Cherry Hill Kollel in any way when they moved to Cherry Hill. And here we are today with them being who they are, no question, all due to Rabbi Klahr and the Kollel.
With the amount they've grown in just a few short years, the Sussmans are the story of what a school can do. They made an impact on the Sussman girls for years and years, and how the Sussman boys were registered in the school because of that. And the growth of the Sussman boys, their tremendous geschmack children, geschmack in learning, a story of a Heshiv Leivavis Albonim, V'Leivbonim Alavaisam, back and forth. The circle of Hashpah that we're watching in front of us, how the Torah is making over a mishpacha, and how that mishpacha becomes exactly what the Torah wants.
My message to the Kollel, and to Rabbi Klahr, and to his mishpacha, and to the entire Kollel community is one of pure hakaras hatov that I can never repay. The Rebbeinu Shalom should give you and your mishpacha, Kalim, to keep doing all the chesed, all the harbatzas Torah, all the kiruv, all the tzedakah, all the avodas hakodesh, and to bring the yeshiva to fruition, to grow, and to bring the Kollel to take the next step, to build Torah and to help more people connect to Torah in Cherry Hill. Azarim B'dima, B'rini Ekseru, Vazim Ali Schleik Pinu will all be together. Yerushalayim HaBenuya, connecting to Torah, Ad Ayad, Netzach Netzachim.
Zalmy, if I can call you up here. Esther Shiva also. Zalmy, I'm humbled, maybe even the right word is awed, to be able to have you as our honoree, and the covet is ours. Present Zalmy with a plaque, presented to Mr. and Mrs. Zalmy and Sharon Sussman, our distinguished honorees. You turned your inspiration from the Kollel into an inspiration for the Kollel. We stand in amazement and admiration at your sincerity and courage and the depth of your commitment to grow and steig in Torah and Avodah. I'll read the pasuk here. It says, Ki oirich yomim u'shneis Chaim v'sholem yesifu lecha. And the Vilna Gaon says, V'sholem hu neged ha-Torah. Dracheo da'achenoim v'chol nesi v'ser sholem. The bracha is that Yiratzin she yamshichu kol yitzich halatzecha la'ales maila maila b'msei Torah v'yira kedech shol saba Ad bias gael tzedek v'meir v'yimeinu amen.
Don't be alarmed, I just have a lot of baggage. Thank you. Rishus, Rosh Kollel, Rosh Yeshiva, Abe Vaynberg, all Rabbanim here, and all who are here, all those greater and deserving of true honor than I am. Hineni Yoni mimas, nifchad. Chaberes Hashem me'oinecha, the Gemara says. Al tikri me'oinecha. The Gemara obviously peeked at my P&L and balance sheet. Don't read it with your wealth. That's not how you should honor Hashem. Ela migroinecha, from your throat. I think we say Vayam Narayim, Man Eloshin, finding the right words. The Hegya and Libi, what's in a person's heart, it could be there. But finding the right words to take the Hegya and Libi, that's from the Rabbeinu Shalom, to put it into words. That comes straight from the Rabbeinu Shalom. I wrote pages and pages and pages here. You're probably all also nifchad by seeing this in all the books I took out. And every time I had another machshava, I stuck it in. And before you know it, it became mevulbal of words, machshavas, that they'd carry me off the stage here and take me away if I said it all. Sometimes. Huh? Again, in case I forget to say this later, of all the things that I was zeichet to the past 2 years, to have a rischa d'oraisa with Genelanda, you know what they say, if you haven't had a rischa d'oraisa with Genelanda, then you might not know what rischa d'oraisa is. Manaloshin is from the Rabbeinu Shalom. The right words come straight from the Rabbeinu Shalom. And sometimes the right words are none, absolute silence. And I think I've chosen that for a good portion of my life. And now I'm exploding. There's so much I haven't said. I feel, and I hope and pray that I'm right, that now is a time for even little me to step way out of my lane and speak up, to make a rash gadol. The be'emes hineni yoni mimas, Hashem sefasai tiftach. May whatever does come out of my mouth tonight be pleasing to the Rabbeinu Shalom and find favor in all of your eyes and your ears. I wrote a Super Bowl pregame speech and a locker room victory speech in case we win. The question I want to ask is, who are we? I was a passionate, committed, spirited, rabid sports fan. So passionate, so committed. On any given Sunday, and every given Sunday, sitting around the folding table in the living room, laden with Chinese in front of a big flat screen, pressing the Chinese, egg roll, sesame chicken, General Chow, sesame beef with extra sauce, as Rabbi Benders would say, Novel Bershus HaTorah. I don't know if he still says it anymore. I had the schus to learn last year around this time, me and my brother, Tzvi Elimelech, was here tonight, along with many of my other special brothers. Yosef Yisrael Gedalia came all the way from Eretz Yisrael. And we went to Florida. We had a bittersweet task of packing up my father's things while he's still alive. My father soll sein gesund und stark. He should have a refuah shalema b'karev. And any spectacle I make tonight that serves any tayelas should be the schusay, the refuah shalema b'karev. He shouldn't have any more tsar, along with all of Klahr Yisrael that are b'tzar. And we went to Florida to pack up his things because he decided he wants to be in Eretz Yisrael as his destination at this point in his life. So we went to pack up his things for him. And we found a lot of things there, artifacts, historical archives. One of the things we found was my invitation in 5th grade to Rabbi Kleiman started Eilu Metzias with us, as is customary for Yeshiva Bachram to start with Eilu Metzias in Yeshiva, asking my father to come be there for the beginning of my Aschalas Gemara. Fast forward through all the Mint Media production, dramatic story, years and years later, and somehow had the schus to be learning Baba Metzia again. A testament to Rabbi Klahr, not just to Rabbi Klahr, to Mrs. Klahr, to Mora Rivki Klahr, Mora Rivki Green, Mora Sari Klahr, and the other teachers that are not last named Klahr, Mrs. Beer, and I'm talking about starting for myself to start to learn Gemara again, but I'm talking about Moras because they all had a chelik in that. They all have a chelik in that. It's hard to put together the muktam and ma'ucher of what happened. It's a big blur, along with a big chesed. But through my children in yeshiva, unwittingly, and through Rabbi Klahr suggesting, I think I have a good idea for you. I have a chavrusa. He's my chavrusa, Rabbi Yosef Michal Laster, but I think it will be good for you. And before I know it, I was pretending that I was in the Kollel for a little bit. And we were learning Basar v'chalav. First we learned Azeu Neshech and Eilu Metzias, the same Baba Metzia that I was learning in 5th grade. But the kitzur, all that was to tell you that I learned the Gemara. And the Gemara says, back to me sitting around the table, just to get you back to the Super Bowl location, sitting around the table every Sunday or any given Sunday or any other day that they decide to play football now, every day of the week Kamat. And I had the sesame chicken, the beef, the extra sauce, the egg rolls. Zokt Rabba Baravhuna, he says, Eino Yiseres ad shetitein tam beroitev o bekipa bechatichas. So, had the roitev, it was very machbet on extra sauce. I had the chatichas. Unfortunately, didn't have the kippah. But fear not. I did make sure I had my New York Giants helmet safely secured to my head. Keneged haneshama shebemoichi? Absolutely not. There was a football league for a short period of time called the World League of American Football, the WLAF. They had a team called the New York, New Jersey Knights. I was an expert in this kind of information back then. So I guess that was our team, New York and New Jersey. I remember they had a new cool thing. They debuted. The helmets had earpieces in them. Back then, that was a big zach. So the quarterback could talk to the coach, could maybe warn him before he got whacked in the head from behind. Now it's old news, this kind of technology. But I was sitting there in my helmet, looking at the flat screen TV, as if I had it too, like when I was yelling what they should do, as if I could talk to them. I would even put on my chin strap before the play began. Somewhere between utter nonsense and avodah zarah. Anyway, Sunday I had my helmet on. I slapped one on my children's head too, Nebuch. We're Americans, right? Okay. American Jews, maybe. Kiddush Friday night. Kiddush club Shabbos morning. Shachris and Musaf in the background. Football, America, Israel, food, our team. Which is our flag? What is our bumper sticker of choice that we're ready to slap onto our vehicles and identity? Eagle's wings flapping, flying off the sides of our car wherever you go. Those are our kanfei nesharim. I'm not talking to you, you're all here. V'hu nisi, the Rebbeinu Shalom is my banner. Fly, Eagles, fly, go Giants, go. Or b'shem Elokeinu nidgo. So a person, so you're a Shomer Torah mitzvahs officially. No small feat, I know. I know better than anyone perhaps. Not a small feat. But where's your hobbies? Where's your pleasures? What's your vice of choice? Where's your true excitement, your ultimate tainug and pleasure? Is it in Veterans Stadium? It's not called that anymore. Lincoln Financial Field, Giant Stadium, MetLife Stadium, so many shemos. On any given Sunday or Thursday or Monday or whatever it is. What's your moment of pleasure? As one of my Rebbeim, yes, I'll call him my Rebbe, Rav Shimshon Pinkas Zatzal, says, what's your moment of pleasure? Is it cozying up with a mishlei? To know and to try to know the Rebbeinu Shalom more intimately, more intensely, to taste, ingest, digest, take joy in the sweetness of the Rebbeinu Shalom's Torah. Kim b'seiras Hashem cheftzai. And Hashem's Torah is our chefetz, is our object. That's our object of desire, of aspiration. And if we don't have a taste for any of it yet, or all of it, or even any of it, so develop one. Some people do it for a cigar, for fine food, for wines, for beers, for bourbon, or worse. Make the Torah your own. In the beginning, it's B'seiras Hashem cheftzai. And at the end, it makes it our own in the possessive. Am I speaking extremism? Or is this just what true Ava is? What is sealed into your flesh? Are you sitting shirtless with a beer in your hand and a letter sealed onto your chest, EAGLES, or whatever the team is, and you're a human banner trained in the cold? You're a passionate gladiator and spectator. Or maybe you're not as extreme, you're just putting another man's shirt on with his name on the back and his number. Are you an adult? Do you take that and make that your own? Or is it the bris milah shechasamta b'vsarenu that's sealed into our flesh? V'hu nisi, the Rebbeinu Shalom is my banner. And everything I'm screaming about right now, I'm talking to myself. I'm screaming it out to you. Because how long can I scream it to myself, like I said, before they take me to an asylum? B'Shem Elokeinu nidgol. In the shame of Hashem, we fly our flag. This is the only flag we fly. Sheker asus l'shua. The gladiators of the gridiron are not, it's not where we find our salvation and our power. Ein Hashem el Yireov, liyachal l'chazdai. For those, the banivos, are just miyachalim l'chazdai, begging, hoping, yearning, banivos, for the Rebbeinu Shalom to come. So who am I? I asked who are we? Who's my team? Who am I? 2 years ago, you just saw a big production. I was inside a gullus, within the kloliistic gullus, hastora b'toich hastora, concealment inside a concealment. I'm sorry if I'm commandeering the mic for an extended period. I've been waiting a long time to have people's ear. I'm sorry, Rabbi Klahr. I didn't warn you. It's a sneak attack. When will I ever get such a chashuv island to listen to what little Zalmy Sussman has to say? They slapped a beard on a wayward son. They put a black hat on him. And they make a striking video. And I nudge Rabbi Bender to come all the way from Far Rockaway to make a rash, to try to make a spark, to make an explosion. When am I ever going to get such a chance? So please bear with me. Walk out and get some food if you need to. Do whatever you got to do. I'm not getting off until I finish saying what I have to say. Rabbi Bender, if you have to go, I'll certainly be meichel. What you did already for me, you schlepped to Cleveland, Ohio, almost 18 years ago, to be Masada Kedushim at my wedding. He did so much for my mishpacha, like a father. Like a father. The Yud Gimel Midah Shad tried to drashes behen. Yud Gimel Midah Shad tried to drashes behen. Say it every morning when my Seder Hayom is together, which is Miyachalim L'chazdai, that it should be together one day. Remember Reb Zevi Trank saying it every morning in yeshiva, and I was able to be there at that time. The third one, Mi binyanav mikosav echad, mi binyanav mishnei chsuvim. You could have a binyanav from one pasuk. You could also have a binyanav mishnei chsuvim. My father is all zayin gesund and stark. I definitely have a binyanav mishnei chsuvim, or from more. The edifice of a father. We all have Avinu Shebashamayim, so we all have binyanav mishnei chsuvim. Rabbi Bender certainly was and is Ka'av, and he came down to Cleveland, Ohio, to be Masada Kedushin by my wedding, and after that, radio silence from me. And they told the story of me coming back, Chesed of Hashem, but they cut out a lot of my long-winded details. And it needs to be said that Rabbi Bender, my parents, my brothers, they told me all the time, you're a Baal Kishrin, Zalmy, he's a Baal Kishrin. They loaded the bases for me. All I had to do was walk up to the plate and take a swing. I didn't even take a swing. I walked away, I stepped out of the batter's box, I walked out of the dugout, left the stadium. Chesed of Hashem, pure chesed of Hashem, that I could be standing here with all the pomp and circumstance or without it, that Rabbi Bender's here, that Rabbi Klahr is here, that all of you are here. So many people, I'll forget to say, that came. Rabbi David, you did your mark, who I once had the pleasure of learning with. And I'm going to leave out so many people. Rabbi Yaakov Berger, Mosey Kaplan. I'm sorry, I don't want to... Every single person in here, I have a drasha to say to, and I know you guys are not ready for that. I'm Gelina, they're going to try to say to each one of you privately at least. It has to come out. It has to come out at some point. You can't just wrap it up and leave it like that forever. Anyway, 2 years ago I was inside a Golos, Hastara b'toich Hastara. I'm coming off Shovavim, Parshas Mishpatim. My Rebbe, Rabbi Mordechai Satorsky, was also here tonight, a big cover that he came. He taught me that the Kriya is Ma'ir this man. When you read the Kriya, it brings up, influences what's going on. The Torah is alive. The Torah is Chaim. It's not a static thing. It's alive. This week's parsha we had Lo Yitzei Chavshi. Doesn't want to go free. The slave. It said it's Gematria V'Shavu Banim L'Gvulam. I was Lo Yitzei Chavshi. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go out from my slavery. I was sure. I was adamant. Rabbi Shlom sent the ball my way, a long way, to left field, but it was pinpoint accuracy. Every ball has an address, a direct hit, one of many. And now it's Shechasamta B'V'Sareinu. Every time I look in the mirror, Shechasamta B'V'Sareinu, besides the bris milah. In the Bavas, in the Ishon Bas Oyin, the apple of the eye. What more direct message can you say? You don't have to be a person who touches up the ways of the Rebbeinu Shalom or thinks he knows how. But how much more does it have to hit you in the face? The Rebbeinu Shalom calls us Am Segula, with the apple of his eye. And the Rebbeinu Shalom should give me a reminder every second, every time I try to look in the mirror or anything, that you're a little touched in the eye, in the apple of the Rebbeinu Shalom's eye. Shiftecha mishantecha hema yinachamuni. The Rebbeinu Shalom's rod that hits us, that claps us, and his staff, his mishantecha that supports us, it's the same. Both of them are the nechama. How said both of them nechama? One's a clap. One you lean on, is a stick, a support stick. And the other one's a clap. Hema yinachamuni. They console me. Yeah. I got to see that a little bit. I got knocked, and then when I was getting back up, I got knocked down again to rock bottom in all areas. And when I woke up that next morning after I said Moida Ani, I woke up first, then I said Moida Ani. I started from ground zero, from scratch. That was the closest I ever felt to the Rebbeinu Shalom. And during this time, and before, the Rebbeinu Shalom was setting up and laying the steps all along for my brother Yitzi, who came to talk to me one night in Lakewood, at the restaurant and tell me he's there for me if I ever want to talk about anything. Together, anything. And Yadus and together, anything. And then he came for Shabbos once, so I felt I didn't like going to shul, but to accompany my brother, it wasn't that big of to be a little bit of a mensch, so I walked him to shul, but it didn't feel good, talking to the Kollel, I think. My kids were already in the school. The Rebbeinu Shalom set up that we had nowhere to send our kids to the point that they were home, and we'd know what to do. And just at that time, Rabbi Klahr opened up his yeshiva, as if it's just for them. And before that, my children, my daughters went to Camp Chaveros. If anyone was familiar with Camp Chaveros, I thought that backyard camps, like their name, it's for Nebi, If you don't have anything better to do, you go to a backyard camp. And the camp that I would send my kids that had all the amenities didn't come close to the backyard camp in the Klahr Mishpacha. It's not whether it's a backyard camp or whether it's a 5-star campus. It's in the Neshama, the Varmkeit, Avas, Yisrael, Yerushalayim. How is it that the Klahr Mishpacha could have such children in Cherry Hill? I don't know who it was that told Rabbi Klahr or Mrs. Klahr walking out of a wedding. I might be messing up the details a little bit, but she's worried about her children. I don't know who that Rosh Yeshiva was that told her, stay here, don't worry about it, but I need to send him something, a thank you, that they stayed here. For us, but it's not just for us. The number 8 is Lamala Min HaTeva. The 8th of the Shloisha Esrei Midos Shater Nidreshes Behem, it's perhaps the Lamala Min HaTeva of the Midos. It's called over Shayi B'chol V'yotza Min HaKol Lamed Lo Lamed Al Atzma Yotza Ela Lamed Al HaKol Kula Yotza. Anything that's in the group, it goes out of the group to teach. It's not just to teach about itself, it's to teach on the whole klal. What happened to me is Lamala Min HaTeva. What happens to every Yid is Lamala Min HaTeva. Yidin are Lamala Min HaTeva. That's who we are. But it's not for myself. If it's just for myself to sit here and talk till every last person leaves, that's not worth anything. Bender, I won't be insulted if you get up and go. I know you have to. I have to say this tonight. Eight is Lamala Min HaTeva. It's not, if it's only to teach about myself, it's to sit here and talk about my story all night. That's not the purpose. Lamed al kol kula yotza. It's to teach on the whole klal. And the only way you can teach on the whole klal is if somehow it becomes a ma'aseh for every single person sitting here. What happened to me? Either as a cautionary tale or otherwise to spur people. I remember when my children came home from yeshiva where I was not feeling so good that I was sending them there. It was mamash out of desperation. That the daycare where they were was just, we couldn't even do it, even though we had no way, we needed to work. We couldn't have our kids home, but it came to a point where sometimes a parent just says, I don't know what the solution is, but I can't do what we're doing anymore. And they were home. And then Rabbi Klahr's yeshiva came along. I felt uneasy about it because that was the place where I wasn't supposed to go back to. Huh? Sorry. Mommy. I can ask you to come up here for a second, please. He learned Chumash with me from that. Rabbi Vaynberg be meichel me. For me, you're right. It's a busha for me to stay here and hog the mic. And I'm no Reb David Schrenk Zatzal. I'm no Reb Zevi Schrenk Yibadol Chaim. I'm not no Reb Yaakov Bender. But I did learn something from you and from them about a Yiddish mama. My mother used to stand at the door crying with the tefillin in her hand. Please, Zalmy, take these. Just put them on. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what it'll do for you. And she never stopped crying for me. Never. I've asked you, Mechila, privately. I think I need to do it publicly. I want to do it publicly. Be meichel me for all the times that I made you cry. But thank you for crying for me. Every Yiddish mama that cries for her child. I feel I have to expedite it. But how can we take this spectacle and turn it into something? When I went to the Archikal and Yeshiva Darchei Torah recently, I fantasized about plugging myself right back in to a yeshiva with a full Kol Torah and everything else. Plug my family right in, full service. Obviously, the Rebbeinu Shalom sent me on this meandering path to be in Cherry Hill right now, to be part of something. So I'm doing everything backwards. This is Tati's sefer that he learned with Zaidi. I give it to my mother. Yud Shvat, we made a bris in our house. Rabbi Mengel here. Yud Shvat. In my being preoccupied, I overlooked that Yud Shvat was my mother's birthday. Machnis, my son, Naim Chaim Baruch, Bebrisa Shal Avram Avinu on my mother's birthday, on Shabbos Parshas Bay, Zman Geula, B'toich Shoivavim.
Rabbi Yaakov Kollel, my son is named after Yaakov Kalman, is named after both of my grandparents. Baruch Shalom sent him to Camden a long time ago. That's where my mother was born. Laying the tracks, just like he laid the tracks to Rabbi Klahr and his mishpacha to be here. For me and for so many other Yidden that are Bala Taher, or some that are not even yet Bala Taher. So, Mommy, besides, I'm sure it was a big birthday present to have the nachas of having a bris in our house on that Shabbos on your birthday. But I need to do more. This is a Chumash Yehoyash. I guess it's a Yiddish translation of the Chumash that my grandfather Kalman learned with my father. The Parsha is Ma'ir Dizman. When I came back from that trip with Tzvi, the Haftarah that week, I didn't even know what's Yehoyash. The Haftarah that week explained who he was, right when he came off the trips. Yehoyash, whatever they'll say about him, whether he was a tzaddik or Rasha, he was a survivor. He survived. His whole family, I think, got wiped out, and he got to be king. I have to learn it more. As Hashem will be Zoicha. But Mommy, I want to give this to you. It's from Zaidi. Yisrael v'yaraisa v'kutsha v'brichu chadhu. And I want Right. One thing. Take it away after this.
You've been on for an hour.
I want it back. When the Kollel moves to its new location, where Rabbi Klahr bought property with the help of people who don't have the money to do it, and the yeshiva moves there to the center of town, Mommy, I asked that I could have it back. And the only way I'm going to get it back is if each one of you tonight allows me to be the ma'aseh before they carry me off. I didn't think I was really going to get literally carried off. It's happening. Not what I imagined.
If everyone could please pay attention again to the video screen for the next Donry.
I was born in Soviet Union. I was just a regular guy. I graduated from school. I graduated from college. I worked. While I was in college, I started to think more and more about purpose of life. I ended up on lecture. It was a rabbi from the United States, and it was so amazing. I could ask him questions, and as soon as you realize that you want to observe Shabbos, you need kosher, you cannot continue living in Soviet Union. And then I was looking for a job, and I ended up here in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I've never learned consistently anything. If I see like comments or Chumash or something like that, and I was learning from myself, from lectures, and then Cherry Hill Kollel came up.
When I first met Alex many years ago at a shir, and he told me a little bit about his story, how he and his wife, they moved to this community in Cherry Hill,
They became members of Sons of Israel. And Alex used to attend different shiurim that the Kollel did together with Congregation Sons of Israel. Then he started learning with the Chavrusa constantly, and he became literally part of the Kollel community, davening in the Kollel, learning in the Kollel.
Alex is an extremely amazing person. He's one of the most humble people that I've ever seen come in and out of the Kollel that I've ever seen in life. He has just a way to him that's just calm and serene. You see him when he's walking into Mincha every single day in the middle of his workday. He always makes sure to take a break off from work, go to the Kollel.
Alex is a very solid person. If he's determined to do something is right, doesn't care what the outside opinions are, he sticks to his guns and comes through.
Alex and his wife have been an example, not just for the community, but for their own children. Always looked for the highest level that they can see in people around them and tried to connect themselves to that. And by connecting themselves to the Beis Medrash of the Kollel, to the young light of the Kollel, they literally connected themselves to the Shekhinah itself.
I have tremendous gratitude for Kollel, and it changed me and my children. Yeah, they were all affected by Kollel tremendously.
I've watched his family. I just watched them grow and grow, and he has 3 boys and a daughter, and they're all B'nai Torah and Abbas Israel, and they grew tremendously. They're still learning, and they're just incredible people, and really all through the connection with the Kollel.
It's truly a covet to the Kollel to honor a family like the Zalmy, to say that this is the family that we are honoring, that was willing to be honored by the Kollel. They really are a perfect example of what the Kollel can achieve in a community.
My bracha is that Sokolin should continue to grow and have many, many more grandchildren, the nachas from all of them, and they should continue to grow in their Yiddishkeit and come closer to Hashem and continue to be part of the Kollel.
If I can call up Alex, get the lights back on. And Alex, if I could cope with Alex, Rabbi Avram Erlich, who was Alex's Chavrusa for a long time. Plaque reads, Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Shmuel HaKohen and Olga Sokolin, our esteemed honorees, you and your family are an embodiment and example of the impact of Limud HaTorah. Yikara hi mepninim, the Torah is more precious than pearls and diamonds, and you have turned your family into an indescribable treasure. May your family's amazing trajectory of growth continue for generation after generation in good health, hatzlacha, and an abundance of true Yiddish nachas.
I just want to say a couple of words. I thought I'm not going to say anything, but then I was somehow inspired. There's halacha that when wolf injured the sheep and the sheep become trefa, it is not going to live long enough to be sheched properly. You have to give this sheep to dog, which protected the sheeps. And the explanation is that it's a akaraz gatov. But how come sheep failed to do it? I mean, dog failed to protect sheep properly, but he was protecting, he was trying hard. He failed, but he was trying. And in a certain cases, dog even give up his life to be loyal servant, to protect. And I'm thinking this is akaraz gatov for dog who failed. And how much more we have to have a karas gatov. I just know a little bit from Yona, from here and there, how much fight and Rabbi Klahr for this Kollel, and how much he invested in it, and what his family went through, and he eventually succeeded. And it's just amazing how much you can learn from just observing how people do it. I learned for many years with Rabbi Ehrlich, and he was not my chavrusa. It was relations between teacher and student. It was one-way road. There's not much I can give to, of course. And once upon a time, we were discussing something, and Rabbi Ehrlich told me that, but this statement we're discussing, it is in Karbonas. Do you daven Karbonas in the morning? And I said, no. Why? I said, just difficult. No, you should daven. And I started to daven. And it just kind of feedback to rabbis that just one replic, one word, it affects people. It is changing life, and it is like you say something and you even forgot, but your students always listen to that, and I started to daven this Karbonas. Was not prepared in advance. But anyway, just learning by example and being part of Kollel, it has changed my life tremendously, and it affects my children, it affects everybody. And if you're thinking that, oh, I invested so much in this guy and he didn't, he's so-so, no, that is not true. It is everything, whatever you say, it affects you, people you're teaching, and how much more we have to be more thankful than we have now.
Okay, and just one more, if you can pay attention again to the video.
I belong to Kollel. I think Kollel belongs to me to some extent. It's dynamic, it is fulfilling. It's my second home.
Everybody loves Abe. Wherever he is, Abe is geschmack. He's a lot of fun. He has such a great personality.
Abe is a role model for me because when it comes to the goals that he sets, there is nothing that could get in the way, and there's no joking about it. But when it comes to dealing with other people, he's the easiest person to deal with, and that's why I think he's so popular amongst everyone.
Abe Vaynberg is a very bright Jew, like all the Jews are. He was able to finish the education. He got his PhD, and then he discovered Yiddishkeit. He needed a place with more Jewish environment, bigger Jewish environment.
He was looking to move. He had just gotten a new job, and he wanted a Jewish community that has a kollel. And this community has a kollel. He liked the kollel, and he said, I'm moving here because there is a kollel. And Abe has literally lived in the kollel since he moved to Cherry Hill for the last 20 years.
We're very fortunate to be in Cherry Hill. It's a place where we feel very much at home, and the Kollel plays a key role in us feeling at home here in Cherry Hill.
Abe's dedication to learning Torah in the Kollel itself is that even though he does a lot of traveling, but whenever he's not traveling, he's there early in the morning and he's there late at night.
When there is a mokum of Torah, when it is being learned uncompromisingly and in a dedicated fashion, it changes the fabric of the community, whether it is immediate, whether it is palpable. It has nonetheless a deletable effect to the community. Existence of the Kollel sets the tune which makes the community what it is, and definitely it will be tomorrow.
It is extremely appropriate that the Kollel is honoring Abe. He is an absolute anchor of the community. Abe's family is an unbelievable family. It's a growing family. He just had his first grandson. His children are all growing in Yiddishkeit.
All of the Vaynberg children, and now the Vaynberg Einiklach, now that Abe became a Dedishke, All of them should be a nachas, a tremendous nachas, not only to you, Abe, and to your mishpacha, but to the Rebbeinu Shalom himself.
Message to the members of the Kollel: just don't lose that streak of freshness and excitement and smiles and easygoing. Stay true to the tune and stay true to who you are, and you're making this place beautiful. And thank you to you all from the bottom of my heart.
Abe, where are you? Come up here. Ellie, where's Danny? Ellie, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get a picture. Yehuda, where's Yehuda?
Yehuda.
Presented to Mr. and Mrs. Abe and Vaynberg, our prestigious honorees, true community leaders, whose strong connection to the Kollel was forged through intense Asik HaTorah and a profound and strong commitment to Yikaveh Itul Matera. May this be a schus for you and your entire mishpacha to continue to grow and steig in Torah. May Hashem bench you with hatzlacha, gesund, and much Yiddish and achas from all your children. They should carry on with your fire, geschmack, and loyal dedication to learning. Okay, everybody's invited to the other room right now for the dinner. Except for the Kias Yoel Vaynbergs. Come up here for a picture. Good day. Whoever didn't have a Ma'ariv yet, please stay here. There'll be a minion right now. Vaynbergs, come up here for a picture. The Vaynbergs from Muncie, from the Catskills, wherever you are. Everywhere. Come to the front, come to the front. Come to the front.
He's so famous. Chaim,